Good morning. Welcome to the bull market. As after 5 days of bear market, we are finally heading into a bull cycle once again for the coming 48 hours before we're going to say that it's a bear market again. Exactly as predicted, as I've just closed my shorts in gigantic profits and now I've become a bull again at resistance. That's what's happening currently, but today we're going to make a small market update where you will see some information that I see on the charts and my view on the markets as well. But before that, do not forget to subscribe beneath and also like this video and comment if you want to see some special content being brought out by us. Next to that, I won't be doing a live stream tonight. Previous week we have done 2 and those were test cases. We still have some stuff to improve, so we'll be doing that during the week. And as you can see on the profile page, we also have a new banner and we'll be implementing some more stuff. So next week we'll be doing the live streams again on Monday and Thursday at 19:30 Central European time. And hopefully then we can do it every week. So today, as we can see on the charts, Bitcoin is ultra bearish and we are pretty much done with this entire bull cycle. I'm kidding. But what I wanted to show here is that you have to zoom out in general to see that the market is just doing quite normal. We've just had a minor corrective move over the entire chart. We've witnessed a run from 10 to 60k, and then it's quite normal that the price of Bitcoin is correcting a little bit. So it's corrected. It lost the 50k level, broke back up again. We're going to watch what on the short term should be expected or should be watched for Bitcoin in general. What you also will see is that we've got this bearish divergence here on the weekly chart, which is a rising wedge construction, and that broke out south. But now you probably will be seeing popping up conclusions that we have a hidden bullish divergence and that we're going to continue running. That's usually what happens now. But in the end, the structure itself, we lost the construction on the daily time frame in which we dropped below 50k. Everyone became bearish. Crypto fear and greed index dropped below even 35. But what we see here is that we're just making higher lows and probably are going to continue making higher highs, just like we have been doing in the entire bull cycle in 2014 to 2017. Also, you can see that every previous level gets a test before we continue. Plus, additionally, the 21-week MA comes in as support before the market starts to run further up. So in this case, most likely we'll be chopping around for the coming period with Bitcoin, in which the 21-week MA becomes support and the price starts to grind up before we make a new breaker in Q3, later Q2, probably Q3 actually. We're going to make a breaker towards 100k, maybe a little higher, and then have a corrective move again before 2022 is going to be the entire bull cycle as in 2017. We have witnessed, as I believe, that this bull cycle is going to be larger, heavier, crazier, longer, more enthusiastic than the previous bull cycle, as this is most likely the .com bubble that Bitcoin and blockchain will have. So, what do I see on the lower time frames? And then we can swap to the 4-hour time frame, as that's the better chart to look at. Pretty much we have discussed this entire view here, right? We said, okay, we might be getting another high here towards 51.6 or reject at 53, that entire region. And then we test the lows once again, sweep that low to get a bullish divergence, and then we reverse. Well, we didn't get that high, but we did sweep the low, get a bullish divergence, and immediately flip back up to the bullish construction. And now, what are we looking at? We're looking at resistance. So, yes, we are currently doing a bullish move, of course, but this entire region here is pretty much the resistance zone that we should crack through. So what are we most likely going to get? Most likely we'll get a retest of 51.3 and something like this before we start to continue. If we make a breaker above this entire region and flip this zone of 53.2 for support, I think we're going to continue. But at this stage, given the significance and the fast bounce up towards resistance area, I think we're getting close to a temporary top on this one, and at least have a retest of anything in this range around 51, as that's the previous high that we should be watching. So if 51 is lost, I think we're going to have a retest anything in this range, and we just have a sideways continuation, just like we have been experiencing on any of these reversals here. So you can see that we've also cracked the low, sweep it here, bounce back up, and then reject to come back down again to retest for the lows before we continue. It doesn't seem unlikely to happen here again, in which we reject here, come back down to test the lows, and then we start to reverse and have the altcoins that start outperforming Bitcoin. As I suspect that Bitcoin is going to check to range for a little while, as I just discussed, with the 21-week MA, and then altcoins start to outperform Bitcoin heavily. So I guess once everybody is going to start panicking and stating that the bear market has started, which is the most ridiculous bet to make right now if you check the on-chain analysis, etc. It's just a healthy correction. In that period, you should be able to buy the dip and use liquidity if you're a newcomer, and you should also be understanding that you should not be chasing pumps, as usually smaller altcoins retrace entirely. So when we get to DENT, for instance, we have discussed this entirely in the previous days and also during the actual pump. What you can see is that in this run up, you should not be entering at all, because that's just plain FOMO. And based on historical price action, you will get some entry points that you should be looking at. And as you can see, an entire corrective move that during this chasing of the FOMO here, you are down about 80% since the low. Probably you've bought here, so you're down like 60. That's not the way to go. And during a real bear market, you will never get up again until you're going to wait for multiple years, or maybe never. So you should be aware of the fact that where you enter is critical in general. If your entry is fine, if you understand the mindset of how you should be entering a market, then you're outperforming 99% of the markets already. So what do we see right here? We did see this bounce up based from the support level for DENT. Most likely we'll get another run up and then something like this. I'm not assuming that we're going to have this test of the level around 0.0038. But something like this, in which we make a sideways active move like we have been seeing previously, that's very likely before we start to make a new impulse wave to the upside. Then also something that we should be looking at is Litecoin, as when Ethereum is doing fine and Bitcoin is doing fine, and Ethereum is actually already around 2500 during this video, and Ethereum is doing really well on the Bitcoin pair, so you can assume that other altcoins are going to follow. Litecoin in itself, and I'll just add the 100-day and 200-day MAs, is flipping back above those moving averages, and it has been doing that in 2019, and you can see what's happening after. You can see that the volume is accumulating or increasing heavily in the past period, signaling that people are interested in this specific asset right now, through which you can see that once we break above the range resistance, this starts to make a new impulse move. So are we in a bear market right now? No. Are we in a buy the dip season? Yes. And Litecoin is currently flagging a level that we should be holding, which is this green block here between 4,000 sats to 4,300 sats. And we've got a test there, and most likely we've bottomed out if we are really bullish, through which I'm going to assume that we're going to have this bounce towards the resistance zone. And given the fact that we have those dips or these tests already, I think we're going to make a new big breakout towards the highs and get a similar construction like we witnessed here. So as long as this upper green zone holds and the 100-day and 200-day MA, we are in bull season, and I think we're going to have big runs on altcoins during altcoin summer. So that's my update for today. You should always remain calm, be patient, be disciplined, be critical what you see on social media, and have a wonderful week, as I'll be back tomorrow with a fresh new update.